Bug haul. Bug haul, baby. That's me. Hey pals, Alicia here. I hope you are doing well. And if you're new here, this is the place where we talk about books. Today I am here to bring to you my fall book haul. It's a book haul, you guys. It's all the books I have brought into my life, into my house, into my home in the past couple of months. I think the last book haul I did was early August, so it's every book I have accumulated since that time. So before I get into the haul, I just wanted to do a quick shout out to my 500 subscriber giveaway. I'll link the video up above. When I reach 500 subscribers, I wanted to do something nice for all of you as a thank you. So I am doing a giveaway for the book, The Song for the Unraveling of the World by Brian Evanson. This video will come out on October 21st, and then the giveaway closes on October 23rd on Friday. So just go check out that video if you haven't already. Check out the giveaway and enter to win if you are interested. So I'll just leave that. I'll leave that up above. So I have about 20 books to share with you today that I have brought into my house in the past couple of months. I have been collecting these books through a variety of ways. Some of them I bought new, some of them I thrifted secondhand, and some of them I even collected from those free little libraries that I have in my neighborhood where you take a book and leave a book. Those things are really popular where I live. There's kind of free little libraries all the heck all over the place. So I've got a pretty wide range of genres here. We've got some horror, we've got some thrillers, we've got some general contemporary fiction, we've got some historical fiction, some science fiction. It's just a big old mix. So I'm not really going to try and put these in any kind of order. Let's just dive in and let's just talk about the books. So the first book that I have to share with you today is The Marrow Thieves by Cherie Dimaline. Cherie Dimaline is a Métis author, and this is a science fiction, speculative fiction, dystopian YA novel. This is set in a dystopian future where global warming has reached a critical point and indigenous people are being hunted for their bone marrow, which is set to contain the key to recovering the ability to dream. I guess everybody else in the world has lost the ability to dream, except indigenous people still maintain that ability. And and they're being hunted for that resource. I feel like this is a YA, this is very much like a YA science fiction story, but it's very much rooted in metaphor and social commentary. Packaged for a young audience. So I've heard nothing but good things about this. It's been on my radar for a really long time, and I'm really excited to have a copy to read. I've also been collecting books over the past month in preparation for Indig-a-thon. That is an Indigenous read-a-thon that is in the month of November. It's hosted by Michelle at Thor Wants Another Letter and Birdie at Et2Birdie. I will link both of their channels and their announcement videos below. I'm really excited for that read-a-thon. I am so excited that they have put it together for us to do. And yeah, putting together my TBR for that has been a lot of fun. So stay tuned for that coming up in the future. Next up, I have Hench by Natalie Zena Walschatz. I actually found this book in a free little library, and this was a 2020 release, so that was really exciting to find. This is a fantasy science fiction story. This is about a woman who is a temp worker. She just kind of picks up temporary work, and one of the jobs that she picks up is as a hench person for a supervillain. I guess superheroes and supervillains exist in this world, and she just, for hire, basically becomes employed by one of the villains. So I guess there's a lot of social commentary in here about working for money rather than because you believe in the cause. The premise of this has a very like comedic satire edge. It really reminds me of Venture Bros, if anybody has seen that show. That's one of my favorite shows ever of all time. So yeah, this just seems really good. It's also promised as a queer story as well. So everything about this sounds interesting, and I have heard absolutely nothing about it. So it was really cool to have fallen into my hands, and I look forward to checking this one out. Next up, we've got The Plotters by Unsoo Kim. This is I think it's a little bit of a science fiction crime thriller. When I read the blurb of this, I got really big John Wick vibes. So I'm really curious about this. This is set in an alternative Seoul where kind of the crime and assassin industry is like a very big industry that you kind of work your way into this kind of assassination trade. It's essentially like a trade, very John Wick. And this guy, he was basically an orphan who was raised into this industry by one of like the biggest crime bosses. So he knows his way through the system, he knows how it works, but only when he reaches kind of adulthood and he gets his own sort of free will, his own sort of thinking, that he's questioning whether he is, he's questioning what the heck he's doing. He's like, am I a bad guy? Should I be doing this? Is this the way it should be going? So yeah, it's a novel about the intricacies of the assassination trade, focusing on one person who is asking a lot of questions. So this just sounds super thrilling. It's also blurbed by Scott Smith of The Ruins, Brian Evanson, whom I love, and Jong Yoo-jung of The Good Son. So really excited about those blurbs, and this looks like it'll be really interesting. Next up, we've got A Lot Suede by Darcy Little Badger. This is Darcy Little Badger's debut novel. Darcy Little Badger is a Lipan Apache author, and this is a fantasy kind of speculative fiction story. This is set in an alternative America where the America looks quite familiar, but it is also very much shaped by magic. It's shaped by monsters. It's shaped by mythology. I believe there is some Lipan Apache kind of lore and folklore woven into the storytelling. This is following a Lot Suede who has the ability to raise the ghosts of dead animals. I believe that's kind of something that has been passed down through an ability that is passed down by generation. And she has just found out that her cousin has been murdered. So she is heading out to kind of uncover what has happened. I believe this is a YA novel, but deals with some very heavy topics, but also with a very kind of magical twist to it. So I am very, very excited to check out this one. We've got The Paper Menagerie and Other Stories by Ken Liu. This is a collection of 15 short stories. I believe they're kind of science fiction-y, speculative fiction-y in nature. And I believe this was Ken Liu's debut. And I've never actually read any of his own work before, but I have read a couple of books that he translated. He is a very expert translator. I believe he translated the Cixin Liu Three Body Problem series, as well as Waist Tide, which I have read. I have heard nothing but good things about this collection, and I actually don't really know anything specific about it, so that's really exciting. I just know that it's science fiction, short stories, some of my absolute favorite stories to read. I've heard that the title story is absolutely beautiful, and I have been eyeballing this one for a few years now, so I am very excited. Next up, we've got another short story collection. This is Love After the End, an anthology of two-spirit and indigiqueer speculative fiction edited by Joshua Whitehead. So I read Johnny Appleseed by Joshua Whitehead this year, and it was one of my absolute favorite books of 2020. It absolutely blew me away. So when I saw that he had edited this collection, I was super, super excited about it. This is an anthology collection that combines stories from a bunch of different authors, and they are all emerging two-spirit and queer Indigenous writers from across Turtle Island. So I am really excited about the diverse range of new voices that I will be hearing about in this. This also has This also has a short story by Darcy Little Badger in it, which I didn't realize until just now. So that's really exciting. I picked this up now so that I could add it to my Indigithon TBR. Next up, I've got Ring Shout by P.J. Clark. This was one of my most anticipated books for this year. P.J. Clark is an expert at alternative history, Afrofuturism, and so I'm expecting no different from Ring Shout. This is set in the early 1900s and is about the kind of birth of the Ku Klux Klan, but as told through the idea of it being dark magic that has been brought to the world. Like, he's really turned the grand wizard into just that, like a horrible wizard that has brought horrible magic to the world. And then there's also this kind of sharpshooter, prohibition, booze running woman who has taken it upon herself to rid the world of this evil. So it's kind of like a magic fighting battle adventure novel, but set to like explaining a very real history, adding some kind of magic to this very real and brutal slice of history. I have really high expectations for this. I do not think P.J. Clark will let me down. He is an incredible writer, and I have heard absolutely nothing but great things about Ring Shout. Next, we've got Pachinko by Min Jin Lee. This is a historical fiction story that I have heard so many great things about. This has been on so many like best of lists, and I've also had friends tell me that this is really good. This is a multi-generational historical fiction story that is about a family traveling from Korea to Japan. And I think we're following like many generations of this family set in the early 1900s. So don't know much more about this one. Kind of want to go in and just have the experience happen to me. Next up, we've got a new release. This is When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. This just came out, and this is promised to be Rear Window meets Get Out. This is set in Brooklyn, and I believe is a story about gentrification, which with a much more insidious twist. I believe this Black woman moves into a neighborhood and is just kind of noticing that all of the Black people who used to live here or who were living here are leaving mysteriously, moving out of this city or moving out of this neighborhood, and she takes it upon herself to be a bit of a detective to kind of figure out what is going on. So I feel like when I hear Rear Window and Get Out, my imagination is just running wild. So I've heard nothing but great things about this, so I am very excited to check it out. We've got These Violent Delights by Micah Nemiravir. I should have looked that up. And this is a contemporary thriller, kind of dark fiction story. This is marketed as being for fans of The Secret History, so I'm kind of cautiously optimistic because I did not love The Secret History, but I feel like I could love a book that's kind of following those themes. And this is following two men who are freshmen in university, and I believe they meet each other, and then their friendship kind of spirals into this codependent obsession with each other. There might be a bit of romance involved in this, but I feel like they have a very kind of toxic obsession with each other that kind of spirals into them also committing crimes. Maybe there's murder involved in their relationship. So I have a friend had just recently read this and gave this 5 stars and said it was incredible. So I got really stoked and had to go pick it up. So I'm willing to give that kind of college era, dark academia trope another try for this one. I'm willing to give it a go. Next up, we've got Mongrels by Stephen Graham Jones. This will have been my third novel by this author. Recently read The Only Good Indians and Mapping the Interior, and I am an absolute fan. I kind of want to just go through his entire backlog, of which there are a lot of books to read, so that's really exciting. Mongrels is following a teenager, I believe, who is living with his aunt and uncle, and they are a family of werewolves, or werewolf-like, werewolf with a twist. I don't know if it's ever explicitly said that they are werewolves, but I think that's the kind of exploration going on here. And I know now from reading his work that Stephen Graham Jones always packs a lot of social commentary and, you know, speculation into his horror and into his storytelling as well. So I'm really excited to read more from him. Next, I grabbed a couple more books from my dude, Brian Evanson. I have A Collapse of Horses and The Open Curtain, both in that like coffeehouse press repackaging that I love. I haven't really been collecting them in this form. It's just kind of turned out that way. So I'm on a quest to collect all of his work. I'm on a quest to read all of his work. So I'm excited to have a couple of more. A Collapse of Horses is a horror short story collection. Don't need to know anything else. And The Open Curtain is a novel that is about a couple of teenagers that are murderers. Yes, this is about two teenagers who become obsessed with a bit of a cult story of murder, and then I believe themselves become swept up in the nightmare. I know it's going to be dark. Brian Evanson writes some really dark goodies, so yes, please to these. Yes, please to these! Yes, please to these! We knew it was going to be here. This is The Cipher by Kathy Koja. I bought this as soon as it came out. I have been highly anticipating this ever since I saw Alex at Hey Little Thrifter talk about it a million times. A million times ago and a million times. This is a re-release of a horror book that has been out of print for a while. It is beloved. It has kind of a cult following around it. I am really excited to check it out. This is about a couple that move into a house, and there is a weird, mysterious hole in this house, and when they put things in it, they come out changed or different. There's just a hole, and they become obsessed with it. It's kind of a story of obsession, of paranoia, of intense like body horror, all things that I love. I've also heard Kathy Koja has a very interesting writing style, so I am very excited to check all of that all the heck out. Cannot wait. Next, we got a couple of horror novels by David Sodergren. I recently read The Forgotten Island by David Sodergren, and I absolutely loved it. It was such a fun slasher horror novel. It really took me for a ride that I really enjoyed being on. And so The Forgotten Island was his second novel, I believe. So I picked up his debut, which is Night Shoot, and this is kind of mimicking an 80s horror slasher, and this is about a bunch of students who break into an old spooky mansion to film a movie. I think they're kind of desperate to film this movie, so kind of break in unauthorized into a spooky house. And you know what? People gonna die. People gonna die in this spooky ooky haunted house. And then I also picked up his third novel, which is Dead Girl Blues. And this is part mystery noir, part slasher, and this one is about a woman who finds a snuff film, I believe, and then embarks on the quest to figure out what's going on with this and falls into something that is much darker than she expected. So again, expecting lots of bloody goodness from him, and part noir mystery. Sign me up. Sign me up, please. I love a mysterious noir. I'm gonna read that book in black and white. Next up, we've got Birdie by Tracy Lindbergh. Tracy Lindbergh is a Cree author, and we are following Birdie, who is a Cree woman. And I believe she is heading from one place to another on a bit of a identity quest. She's kind of in the search for family, for home, and for for understanding as well. This novel weaves in Cree folklore and tradition and writing style in it, which sounds really interesting. Yeah, I'm expecting to learn a lot from this. I'm expecting a unique experience in reading this. I have heard to kind of go into this with an open mind because I believe it also has a very kind of decolonized writing style that I'm really eager and excited to experience. We've got a horror anthology. We've got Local Haunts, which is edited by R. St. Clair, and this is a horrortube anthology. This again was one of my highly anticipated books for the end of the year. This is 19 horror short stories that are all written by people on Booktube. They're all written by people in the horror tube community. The kind of theme tethering these stories together is local haunts, so spooky stories that are set around places where each of these horror tubers might live. So a few of these people I know pretty well from Booktube, so I'm really excited to read their stories, and then others will be entirely new to me. I love horror. I love horror short stories. Anthology collections are some of my absolute favorite to read, so to get my hands on this around Halloween, it's just perfect. It's just absolutely perfect. Just a couple more novels here. Next up, I've got Sing Unburied Sing by Jessamine Ward. I have been eyeballing this book for such a long time, so I am so excited to get to it. This is part ghost story, part travel novel, part family drama. This is following a family as they are traveling across state to go to a penitentiary, I believe, to visit the patriarch of the family. I believe the father is in jail and the rest of the family is driving to go visit him. But I believe the whole novel kind of takes place in that transit, and they go back and forth in time, and you kind of learn about the family in this kind of trip, learn about what's going on, learn about how everybody's feeling. I believe this won a whole bunch of awards. It won the National Book Award when it came out, and I've heard it's absolutely beautifully written, haunting, harrowing, family drama. I am here to experience all of those things. I'm also expecting this to be quite a difficult read, so I'm going to go into it when I am feeling capable of doing so. And finally, last but not least, we've got Body by Asa Nonami. This is a horror short story collection. There are 5 stories in this collection that are all about the body. I believe this is meant to be like a collection of body horror. So each one of these stories focuses on a different piece of the body and then kind of explores a story with that as the focal point. So I love body horror. I love horror short stories. So I am really excited to merge those things into one. Wee! Body horror. So there you have it, pals. Thank you for bearing with me through this book haul. That was a lot of books. I actually really like going through the exercise of doing a book haul because it makes me be like, what am I doing? Slow down and read what you're buying. Just take your time, girl. Pull it back, hold on, and read. So I am really excited about all of these books. Let me know if you have read any of them and what you thought. Let me know if you want to read any of them and maybe we can read them. We can read them together. I love doing buddy reads. They're my new favorite thing to do. So take care out there, pals. Yeah, just stay safe, be good, stay spooky, and until next time, see you back!